Hello, everybody, and welcome to another large-scale consolidated live. And here with Andrew, Mr. McTovid, and so welcome aboard, everybody, to another show. And I see we have quite a few people already in the chat. How are we doing there, Andrew?
We are doing good. I found my headphones that I accused the cat of misplacing, and you were right. It was because I was disorganized.
I knew the
So,
cat didn't steal them.
oh,
Poor cat
it was
gets
worth a
blamed for
try.
everything. When everything else fails, blame the cat.
Absolutely. She's
So,
adorable. She can get away with it.
there you go. So we have a guest lined up, but before we do, we're going to do our normal quick introduction of who's in the chat. I'll try my best to get the names correct. As many people know, sometimes I wreck them, sometimes I don't. So we have Stay Loaded. Looks like he was first. Canadian Railroads. Cody Reisinger. Moving along here, Kyle Kuiper, Bruce Morrill, and still going through here. And if I miss your name, just let me know because I'm going through this pretty quickly. Krista Dempsey, and let's see, John Simkovich, and then we have I seen 4-track railroad in here, and Gem State Railroad. Hello, and I believe that's going to Zachary Riggins. Hello, all. He says. Rayland. He says hi from Georgia. I've seen a couple first-time people. Welcome aboard. And if you like large-scale or G-scale trains, subscribe and check out our channels. Me and Andrew, we do this alternating weeks. Every other week, we try to do a show just to keep everything fresh because we know, especially during the winter months, there's not a lot of time to be, run time for out there in the Garden Railway.
Unless you have a snowplow.
Yeah.
Actually, right now, my issue is the leaves.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. How about a leaf blower? Does that help out on a Garden Railroad any?
It does, but you have to get after them before A, they get wet, or B, the stems of the leaves start like kind of getting hooked into the ballast in that, because then everything just wants to kind of like wave around as you're trying to blow it.
Oh.
Which gets really annoying.
So it's not as easy as just using a leaf blower.
No, I can understand why there's a lot of people that actually slightly elevate their layouts up on, like wood decking or something, because it's a lot easier to clear that stuff off.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and bring our guest on. That's what everybody's waiting for.
Okay.
And here's our guest, Mike.
I like that shirt he has on.
Yeah. Welcome, Mike, everybody. How you doing, Mike?
Well, how is everybody out there? I hope well.
Everybody seems to be doing good. And so you were a first-time guest on the show, and so I always ask our guests, how did you get into the world of model railroading?
Well, I had sons, and when they were young, I also had a crazy neighbor who was very heavily into trains, and we decided to put a train around the Christmas tree. Well, in a short period of time, the train traveled around the house, on the floor, throughout all the rooms, and then it just went crazy from there. So I've been at it ever since.
And how did you get into G scale altogether?
Well, because my neighbor was getting into G gauge, although he was an HO guy for a long time. But one thing I found out was that the train would remain stable going around the Christmas tree. I didn't have to worry about it falling off or playing with the track or any of that kind of stuff. And the kids could operate it very easily if they wanted to. And so I just kind of stuck with that, and it's been a very good experience because now as I've gotten older, it's much easier to work with.
And how long have you been in the G scale?
I have been in the G scale since the late 1980s. So,
wow.
When I got into it, Kalamazoo was just dropping out of it, and LGB was pretty much the only game in town. Although Charlie Rowe was copying a few box cars at the time.
Yes.
He was just starting to do what the wood reefers at that time.
Yeah, he was basically like what Mike said. He was copying the LGB box cars because he knew people would want something that would run with LGB, which at the time was the biggest G scale manufacturer in the 80s.
Right. And so then a little bit later, aristo-craft came on the scene and started with their U23Bs and there's U25s. Yeah. So and then it started to expand a little bit, and Charlie Rowe's product line began to expand, and so more modern or Americanized, and so it greatly increased the interest in the States.
Yes, correct. And looks like you got some fans in the chat saying hello to you.
Well, hello back. I don't know who they. Maybe Cody.
Let's see here.
You got a couple of them in here.
Yeah, you got Jack Twaddles in there saying hello to you, Mike. I saw Cody in there a little bit ago. Krista was in there saying hello to you.
Yeah.
Well, I wish everyone well, and pleasant evening, and hope they enjoy this.
So, when did you start your G scale layout?
Which one?
One?
Well, I had started a layout in where I lived previously, and then we moved. And so when we moved to this present location in about 1993, and I started pretty much almost immediately to build the layout, the indoor layout. The outdoor layout, I didn't start until maybe 2010, maybe, because while my boys were growing up, they used, wanted them to have a place to play in the backyard. So I didn't start the layout outdoors until about 2010.
Wow, okay.
So I brought up a couple of pictures here of Mike's indoor layout that he has. Are you able to see the pictures okay, Mike?
Yeah, that's just across the table, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, Mike, like I said, likes the modeling aspect very much. He's got a lot of interesting scenes and stuff that he's done.
And one of my biggest problems is that I try to pack too much into small places, kind of overbuild.
Yeah, he's actually got quite a bit going on in the area that this layout in his basement's in. And is everything on there like 4 foot or 5 foot curves, Mike? I can't remember.
They are 4 and 5 foot curves because at the time it was the only track that was available. You have to remember that was back in early 90s, and Wide Radius USA or Aristo-craft wasn't even out yet. And it kind of worked out better because of, inside there are kind of limitations to, what you can do just because of space.
Oh, absolutely.
And it kind of worked out pretty well because it gave me the motivation to build the outdoor layout because I got some Aristo-craft stream side cars and some LGB passenger cars, which would not negotiate those curves, and so it kind of forced me to build the outdoor layout. So it kind of worked out pretty well.
I have to ask you, Mike, I'm looking in this one picture. Did LGB make that hot metal car? Is that what that is?
Yes, they did. They made it in two varieties. They made it a working version and a non-working version. One that is motorized, the ladle will tip, and the other one that it does not.
Wow, they actually had one that was motorized, huh?
Yeah. 4156.
Yeah.
Now that's an interesting load right there.
You'll never guess what that is. That's Playmobil. Is obviously a European version, but it's pretty unique. Those beams are about 18 inches long, and so I like to put some unique kinds of things on my layout.
I was gonna say I never would have guessed that was Playmobil.
Yeah. I took the bumpers off. Probably wouldn't look too bad.
Does Playmobil still make anything in G scale, or did they stop that years ago?
No, I think they still do, but it's toyish. But they made a couple of things that were pretty interesting. They made a nice gantry crane that is pretty nice.
Now, this is a scene that I really kind of like on your layout, Mike, because you just kind of
that's cool.
Mike kind of went all out on making it look realistic. I mean, he's got tools and everything all over that. They're tearing that thing apart.
Yeah. The only way I could make it better was maybe to cut out a section of the engine housing.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives it that real feel that a locomotive is being worked on, at a maintenance shop.
Yeah. That was the motivation.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I had any other pictures. Oh, here's one for the turntable inside of your indoor one. Now,
stuff all over, right?
I got a feeling that SD40-2 does not actually run on your track inside.
It does not. That's why it's on. That's why it's static display.
Yeah. Was that Pola or LGB that made that turntable?
That is
That was Pola, wasn't it?
Is a Pola turntable.
Is that a USA Trains crane in yellow that I see?
Yes. Yeah. I just didn't move it. It was just sitting there, and it's not on track or anything.
Actually, you got two of them. I was going to say, hey, I got a picture of it, but now I see there's two in the frame there.
Yeah, there's two of them. LGB did make a turntable also. Yeah. I can show it to you if you want. It's right over there.
I was looking to see if I had a couple videos of your indoor layout here. I know I do. Let's see here. Got to share this differently, though. So, how much time did you have in building the layout in the basement, Mike? How long did that take you?
Well, that was a long time ago, Andrew.
Oh, I can understand that.
And being old, I have no recollection of the time frame of how long it took me. But I was would work on it a little bit in the evenings, and I had young children, and so I would work on it here and there, and a lot of things were not available, local hobby shops, and so I depended on LGB conventions and trade shows. So
Oh yeah.
it probably took a while to get the thing completed.
Construction.
Yeah.
There's a clip of your layout running inside there. Kind of gives you a little bit better idea than just the pictures I was showing.
Oh, wow, it's multiple layer.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a couple clips of it here. Let's see. Probably would have been a good idea if I would have just stitched these together, huh, Sean?
At one time, I had each one of those tracks with LGB isolation blocks. And the problem that I found was that it was just not long enough. I mean, it worked perfectly, but it just wasn't long enough to really suit the isolation block system very well.
Yeah.
So,
I was looking at that sign right there, right in front of the orange I-beams, and I was trying to figure out what it says, but it must be in German.
yeah.
Yeah,
An LGB sign.
Any people in the audience that read German and can tell us what that says, so Dakman doesn't stay stumped? Let's see. I think I got
It just
one
caught
more.
my eye for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't think about it too much now, but at the time when Mike was doing this layout, I mean, just about everything was European, German, and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there wasn't a whole lot of American items out at the time.
No, there really wasn't.
No.
Let's see. Where's one other video here? I thought. Give it 1 second. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a different angle. This is over on the other end of it.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem, at the time, you have to work around the stairway and poles.
And you actually have a reversing loop at each end, don't you, Mike, with like an automatic
Yes,
polarity
just
switch?
a little shorty log train and a shorty ore train. There's one of the isolation blocks.
Oh, okay.
John's asking, how big is this layout?
Totally, it is probably, I want to say maybe 30 feet long and maybe 8 feet wide.
Okay. Looks like Nico answered my question. Four-track railroad. He says it means detour.
Yeah, don't go on the track.
Ah.
Pretty long word just for the word detour.
Yeah, really. Now I know why I don't know German. Let me see here. I've got Mike's outdoor layout's a little bit bigger. Let's see here.
Gem State Railroad was asking, was that a hand-painted background?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, I wasn't even here. Let me
yes.
Pop that back up there.
And
back there, yeah.
Oh, yeah. A friend of mine helped me well, he painted it and I helped him, but it is in person. The pictures don't do it justice. It's unbelievable.
Mm.
It's really a nice.
I know if I had to do it over again, I probably would have elevated mine inside as well.
Yeah, yours was right down on the floor, wasn't it, Sean?
Yeah.
So here is, if I grab the right frame here. So
Whoa,
there's
wow.
Mike's outdoor layout. It's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And
that's really well pruned and that looks good.
It's only like that one time a year for one day.
One time a year.
I think that's probably true of my layout as well.
Yeah, just when there's an open house. Other than that, it's could fit any place Katrina has been.
And you're all battery power, right, Mike? You didn't do track power.
Oddly enough, I have a 2-inch conduit that runs under the layout with feeders that go to each of the track, but no wire. So yes, I'm all battery.
You had it in the plans and then said the heck with it.
Well, what happened was when in the process of building it, I did not have battery power. Battery power was just starting to come into play when I was building it. And it was so easy to work with that I just decided not to run wire. That's all.
And the people watching that don't know Mike, they know. But the people that don't know Mike probably will not guess what he uses for his radio control system.
I am a Loco Link person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's the only person I know personally that uses Loco Link. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying.
No, actually, when the first system, well, that's another story. I bought a collection, and like 10 of the engines had Loco Link were already equipped with the Loco Link, so naturally I wanted to maintain that. And since then, they have come out with a new device that's an upgrade to digital, and what is that, gigahertz, I think, 2.4 gigahertz, and consequently the range is much greater, and it's very simple to use because I'm a simple person, and so it works out real good.
Yeah, Zachary, they're saying Loco Link. It's a manufacturer who made a radio control. It's radio control, right, Andrew?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's Loco Link, not Loco Mate. And John wants to know, are all 4 loops able to be interconnected?
No, they're not. And there's a reason for that too. Because I found out that whenever I had anybody coming over, I was either talking with them or watching the trains, but very difficult for me to do both. And, and usually there may have been at that time, maybe some alcohol involved, which made things that much more difficult. No longer, but anyway, that is why the tracks do not, you can't go from one track to another. That's the reason.
And Heath was asking if you had both an indoor and outdoor G-scale layout, and the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
Yep. Mike's an overachiever, Heath.
How big is this layout? I mean, this looks pretty big.
It's probably about it's a triangle. The outside curves, for anybody that can kind of gauge that, The outside curves are 20-foot radius.
Oh,
And
wow.
that is, the triangle is like 60 feet. Each leg is 60 feet, and whatever the hypotenuse is, I don't know. So, yeah, that's it. And then there are 4 outer loops that, that are 4 outer loops, and then there's an inner one also, which is much more operations oriented.
Cody was saying it's so big that you can see it from Google Maps.
Yes. Yeah, you can.
I like this scene. This is a cool one here. With the intermodal cars and
Yeah, and I'm trying to think that day. I'm thinking it was windy, and that's why you didn't put the second row of containers on, Mike.
Yeah, I usually do have the second row on, but I might have gotten tired of, by the time you put 4 tracks on or 4 trains on, I get tired. So
I understand the dilemma.
the building in the center of that picture, that open work area, is a scratch built thing out of cedar, and the roof is all aluminum, corrugated aluminum though, to scale. So and it's been out there quite a while, although I do bring my buildings inside it during the winter.
next to that fuel tank, there's another tank that stands straight up and down. Is that a sanding station?
Oh, I know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
There are 2 tanks there. The one on the one on.
You're looking at this right here in the middle, Sean?
I was looking at that one and the one on the other side of the fuel tank.
That one there.
Yeah, those 2. What are
the steel water tank is a Polo.
Okay.
And the fuel tank is a Bachmann tank car that I made the stanchions and stand for it. And the one on the left is a scratch built sand tower.
So it is a sanding tower. All right, cool. Nico is asking, what state are you in?
I live in Ohio.
I was going to say denial, but okay.
Some people think crazy town, but no, Ohio.
Yeah, I like the way that sanding tower came out.
Yeah, Mike actually made one of those for me as well, and the components of that, Mike, like the only like actual made piece is the ladders on that, right? Like the rest of the stuff is like PVC and
PVC.
Yeah, and I thought there was like a couple of caps from like, I can't remember what they were from now. You explained it all to me at the time.
The sand tower is made of almost completely PVC, except for the ladder cage, which is a Plastruct. And that's pretty much it. There is a cement block base, just for stability, but the top and the bottom of the sand tank are PVC test caps. So yeah, it's all PVC.
Yeah, that's a great addition when you have a layout that has diesel locomotives.
Yeah.
Just looking here. Thought I had another photo I wanted to pull up from your outdoor layout, but I think that was it. It slipped my mind. I was going to ask you something, Mike, and it just flew away.
I understand. When it flies back, just
now
that.
it's gone.
Yeah, just like a bad Ford transmission, his mind slipping.
Ooh.
Mine does all the time. So
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I got a few videos from his outdoor layout. Now, the camera work may not be the best on these because.
Somebody's asking
Yeah.
on the house kits that are in the background
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Photo.
the houses are Pico or Pico, however you pronounce it.
I believe it's Pico.
Pico, okay. And the city buildings are also
I was going to
Oh,
say
okay.
the right
Come on.
next the third building over. I think that's a Pola building there, isn't
Yes,
it?
yeah. There's some Pola. There's actually a couple of. I don't know if you have any pictures of the industrial buildings, the larger industrial buildings. Andrew, I should have probably sent you something, but I haven't been inside now.
That's all right.
And those are all Colorado models.
Oh, okay. Rockwall Canyon Railroad wants to know: do you have a solution for hauling trains from storage to layout? In other words, do you carry your trains out, or you put them in a wagon, you carry them out, or do you have like a basement window where you drive the trains out? How do you get your trains out to your layout?
Okay. I have a shed, which is one of the plastic, I don't know what plastic or urethane sheds that is like 8 by 10, which is 5 feet from the track. And so I just carried them out. Okay. But I have probably 20 different complete trains. So, like I have a Burlington Northern covered hopper train, then a Lionel Chessie ore train, with like 20 cars, So those I have in containers. And if I want to run those, I bring the containers out. And I do have a wagon or it's a little cart that I bring it out to the track and just load them on.
Okay, because I think that's one of the biggest things that people try to overcome is that they get done building their railroad or close to it, or they got it to
Right.
where you want it. Now they have to come up with a plan on how to get the trains
Right.
to the layout. And I've seen many different things done, where people will, like Nico, when he lived at his original house, he had his train, he would run it right out the basement window onto his
Right.
layout. I've seen people use stage dirt trains in sheds and then run
Right.
them out. So
Yeah. I don't have any great solution. A friend of ours has his layout next to his garage, and has a door that he opens up the door and runs the trains out. And I mean, that's great if that's what you want to do. It does take some time, but I have so many different trains that I can run that I don't have a building that big.
Yeah. And we have another friend that has his layout right next to the perfect basement window, but he won't run his trains through it. Harry.
Well, everybody has to do what they have to do. I'm not going to condemn anybody for.
No, I like giving Harry a hard time, though.
Oh
Can
yeah,
I-
well yeah, that's
Did
reasonable.
I say Harry? Harry, if you're watching, I'm giving you a hard time.
Yeah, but his layout's nice.
Let's see here. So let's see. I found a couple of videos that I had of your outdoor layout.
So I like the questions that the viewers are asking. Very good.
Andrew, do you have a picture of any of the industrial buildings or the grain silos?
Let me look. You know what? Yeah, I do. That's the picture I was looking for earlier, and I looked right past it. I know. It's because I'm not organized, Sean. You can say it.
I'm sure you'll blame that on the cat too somehow.
Don't worry. I'll figure it out. Cat has broad shoulders. She can carry it.
Poor cat.
Let's see, where did that go? I must have stopped sharing that. Hang on. Where'd it go? Where did my window go? Somehow I'll blame it on the cat.
Yeah, I think you broke the window.
There we go. Is that what we're looking for, Mike?
I like that. That's nice.
Is that what you were talking about, Mike?
Yes. The grain elevator is Pico, and as well as the warehouse, and I just simply put them next to one another. But the silos are 4-inch PVC pipe, and you can use drain style or Schedule 40. I think I use, some of them are Schedule 40, some of them are drain. They're the same outside diameter, so it doesn't really matter. And the cap is a 1/4-inch PVC. Or no, I'm sorry, it's 1/4-inch ABS. And the piping is just C PVC.
That really turned out nice.
Yeah. I mean, with a little bit of imagination, I mean, you can do a lot of things on more of a budget, you know. Everything doesn't have to be an out-of-the-box kit.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that's one of the things I want to mention when I start to work on it, or when we start to talk about the loads that we'll get to here whenever we do, is that there are a lot of everyday items that you can use, and I will show you some of those things.
I guess it's a better overall view of your layout. I must have been.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think that's before I had a tripod. That was a few years ago.
No, that's still pretty good.
Now, I remember at one time, Mike, right here in the front, you had talked about doing like an intermodal yard. Did you ever get around to that or no?
Well, that's going to serve as the intermodal yard. And so what I'll do is I'll just have some containers just sitting around. And I was going to build a trailer rack where I could stand flatbed trailers upright, like they, do in some of those yards, and have some intermodal trailers around, and some semis, and that kind of thing.
Zachary's asking, where did you get the flat tops on the silos?
It's just a flat piece of ABS plastic. And I just kind of sculpted it with a reciprocating saw.
Oh, okay. And he wants to know, how did you mount them on the platform?
PVC glue.
Okay.
Yeah, just plumber's glue. Although I found a glue that's actually better, and I'll show you that later.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah, I'll show you when the things that I've done, I will try to show people how I've done them, so that give everybody some tips on, hopefully some tips on what I do, or give you some ideas, things that you can carry away.
Carry away? What time can I come over?
Anytime, you big boy. Anytime to run trains.
Well, as in the movie Unstoppable, when the lady asks, "What time is train time?" It's all the time, right?
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
Except for when the wife says, "Cut the noise out,"
Or the smoke.
or the smoke. Yes. So, what do you got going on in front of you there, Mike?
Well, I have a variety of different flat cars and a few gondolas with different kinds of loads. And I think that all of us, when we start to run our trains, we want to make our trains interesting rather than just see an empty train ride around the tracks. So I've tried to come up with some things that I think are unique instead of just the same old flat car loads or the commercialized loads. I do have one side of the table, this side of the table is all commercially available loads that probably everybody is familiar with. I mean, I have a couple of flat car loads that are, commercially available vehicles. This is an Erie car that I decaled because nobody makes an Erie flat car. And in my area, Erie, Lackawanna was one of the major railroads. So I wanted to make something that would be accustomed to our area. And then again, a couple of commercially available vehicles. That is a CSX flat car for maintenance of way train. Again, I painted and decaled that.
And for those who don't know, the CSX MOW train is orange, correct?
The maintenance of way trains are orange. This is prototypical. These are prototypical numbers.
Now, do you have those chained down to the cars, Mike, or glued, or are they just sitting?
No. They're just sitting there, and they're kind of heavy enough where they're not moving.
Oh,
Especially this bulldozer. This bulldozer is pretty heavy. So, and the reason why I painted these cars is that no one made orange CSX flat cars. No one made Erie flat cars. So, you have to make your own sometimes. And luckily, they're one color, so even I could do that. So that's how that came about. Do you want me to go through some of these different loads?
Sure. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
If you want to.
Let's see here.
I can just bring them over here. Okay. Now this load is it's a aristo-craft. I'll show you the bottom. Is foam, but it's a pretty nice load. It's kind of heavy, nice thick walls, and I just set it on there. Just
now, that's a load that Aristo-Craft made.
It is. Well, it came with this aristo-craft car, so I'm assuming Aristo-Craft made it.
I've never seen that at all before.
You got to remember, Andrew, I got a lot of old stuff. So it could be the first year they came out. Who knows? and this is, I'm sure that you're all familiar with the junk car load for the gondola. This happens to be a weathered junk load with some kind of metallic paint and a little bit of red, a little bit of silver, a little bit of black mixed in there. So
yeah, those loads came like completely unpainted. They were just black, right?
Just black.
That yourself, yeah.
Yeah. So this has a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver. Just kind of, I don't know if you can see it very well, but these, all the things that I'm showing you now are just commercially available. So no no special thing to them. This is one of the newer USA tank. Must be like a liquefied gas.
Actually, I think they just started offering that one, a couple years ago with the tank on it like that?
Yeah, a couple years ago. I'll show you one that they offered a long time ago. And this is an aristo-craft pipe car that, now that's been around for a while. But it's a pretty nice load, substantial and well assembled. This is I don't know who makes the crane, but I just stuck it on there and kind of changed it down.
I want to say I think it's New Ray, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
made those.
I can help you. Yeah, it's exactly who that is. It's New
Yeah.
Ray. And what USA Trains would do, because that's USA Trains depressed center flat car from what it looks like. They would make these loads up using New Ray vehicles and then sell them either separately at the train show out of a box, or sometimes they would sell them in the box. But
Right.
they would put several different of these New Ray, either a truck or a trailer or a construction vehicle like that. That crane right there, or excavator.
Yeah, they had a crane, or this crane, an excavator, and I think a front loader.
Yeah, so USA Trains does several different things using New Ray vehicles.
The old, piggyback car, and available in, I think, 800 or 900 different trailers. But again, Erie, Lackawanna, so I wanted to use that one on my layout. And this is a very old product that is like a machines covered by a tarp. That this is an LGB car. I think I've had this since the 80s. So I don't even know if you can find these kinds of things anymore, but it makes a really nice load, I think. Interesting load. It's foam, and so it's relatively light. The car was battered, but it was one of the first cars I ever got from a hobby house in Cleveland, Ohio, which doesn't exist anymore.
Somebody's asking if that load has a real cloth on it.
No, it's plastic.
Oh, okay.
It's foam.
Yeah, it does look like it's cloth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very convincing, actually.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So that's actually a plastic instead of being cloth.
No, I think it's more foam, but the surface of it, is finished off so that it, it's kind of hard.
Oh, okay. That was a good question too.
Now this is pipe load that USA used to make. Just PVC pipe with some brackets in there. I don't know. I want to show everybody how I make these things. It's pretty simple, really. And then these are some commercial vehicles that, are available. Just some of the ones I had sitting around in the basement. I'm sure you're all familiar with a steam donkey that is made by Bachman. They put it on a car, and I think they were, I don't know, charging like $65 or $70 for the car. Then this is a little, I don't know what you even call it.
That looks like a trash compactor for the dump.
Well, no, this is, they use this for, when they're building highways and, kind of heavy duty areas.
Yeah,
use
that would
like
be a
this.
steamroller, but see, that's got the knobs on it, so that would be used in the dump to actually tear up the trash in the dump because it's not smooth.
This is an NG. This is a die cast. This is from NZG in Germany. So it's substantial. And this is a Great All. It's a pretty nice tractor.
Oh yeah, that is nice. Who makes that? That's a nice piece.
You know,
I've never seen a die cast version of that.
Yeah.
GVC. Yeah, it's pretty nice because this arm extends out
Oh, wow.
and rotates, and of course the top does also, and there are a lot of doors that open up and hatches and everything. But I'll turn this around.
Heck, I kind of want one of those for working in my backyard.
Yeah.
Not that I really got a yard that needs it. I'd take like a small tractor.
It doesn't matter if you need it or not. It'd still be neat to just have it and run around. So, just run up and down the neighborhood, terrorizing everybody.
Yeah, a couple other people were saying the same thing. That orange vehicle is a landfill packer.
Oh, this got like the spikes on the drum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is also an NZG. This is die cast.
Is that like a pile driver or something?
Pile driver, right? And
nice.
Moves all kind of different directions, and the doors open also. If I can get them to come open. Doors open, and this could be moved in all kinds of. But anyway, on a flat car, it's a nice load. I mean, I don't want to lose perspective of what we're trying to talk about here. So, I mean, pretty soon we'll start just talking about vehicles and not flat cars. So, but anyway, it's any of these kinds of things, you can purchase. They're available, slap them on a flat car. But personally, I like to make things that are a little bit unique in nature. So, and as I was saying before, I try to use or think of things that are available anywhere and all the time, and everyday objects that can be used. I'll give you an example. This is a card that I'm going to be working on in the near future. You can see that the platform is unfinished, and it's because I just started to work on it.
Is that? I'm looking at your load that's on there. Is that like part of like a pool pump or something, or what'd you use for that, Mike?
This comes from a current coffee machine that I tore apart.
Oh. I got to say, that makes a pretty nice looking load.
It does.
Yeah, if I didn't tell you that, it looks like something that would be in an industrial, that's being delivered to an industrial area. I think it. If you don't think too hard about it, and then this car is a. I'm sure all of you can see it's a drag bucket. This was 3D printed. Shall I turn it? This was 3D printed by my son.
Oh, wow.
Now this is, to give you an idea, there's my hand. So it gives you an idea of the size of it. So it's about 3 inches wide and about 5.5 inches long. And, I've just built a little platform, and that's another thing that we can talk about, your platforms, because you like to have a platform on machinery and different items so that, that's the way they would really do it.
I'm just blown away looking at the drag bucket that he 3D printed for you, Mike.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is.
I guess if you don't work around big machinery, you don't think about it. But some of the buckets for those drag lines are pretty huge.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a pretty good size bucket. So that's I just thought that would be very unique, and he did too because he's not around me, and so he made it for me though. Now this car, I don't know how much it weighs, but it's pretty heavy because those are solid brass. They're tracked, and there are four levels, and that's about they're about 13 inches long, and they're just tracked, and I peeled off the ties and I glued those together with JB Weld, just regular JB Weld epoxy. This is the normal one. And again, this is a car that I made because they weren't available. And so I'll show you some of the glues. Later on, I will show you everyone some of the glues that I use.
Do you have a regular CSX MOW train? Because I'm seeing that's like your 3 or 4 different cars that are CSX MOW.
Yes, I have a Pumpkin GP38.
Okay. Is that painted orange as well?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking to see if I had any pictures of that anywhere.
Mm. Yeah, that's a cool one to have because nobody's ever made the CSX MOW orange locomotive in G scale that I know of.
Correct. I've only seen 2, and I have one of them. That doesn't mean they're not out there. That just means that I do like it though. And a lot of the cars that I are showing you are the reason that I had to make them was that they're just not available. So you have to make your own.
Yeah.
And kind of combined with I like to do it anyway.
Now the wheel car next to that is also CSX MOW?
Yes, the wheel car is a USA car. Just that I decaled it. I get my decals from Stan Cedar Leaf in Arizona, and really does a nice job on them.
Doesn't say a lot of people get their decals from Stan, I know.
He's first of all, he's a very fine person. And then his service is wonderful. He's very, very fast in what he does. He is will custom what you do or what you want, and he has a lot of things available. I'm working on a 44-ton Western Maryland that he had the fireball and the script ready to go, and I wrote to him in about 3 days. I had decals. So
wow.
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of decals to make, but nonetheless, he does a pretty nice job, and they're very nice decals. So getting back to this car, these are the wheel brackets, for lack of a better word, and these are available from USA Trains. You simply put 2 of them together, and it fits into the stirrup holes, and so, but they're available. Nothing I did anything special.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that will take like those wheel load cars and do some weathering on the wheels, rust them up and that, and
Yeah,
it definitely gives them a whole different look.
And also, this is what I did for the wheel car. If somebody didn't want to do this, I've seen guys that have put just 2 pieces of wood or 2 pieces of PVC or plastic along and drop the axles in there and then put a solid piece of wood over them to retain them on there. And, you know, they're the only limit to loads is your imagination. And I really mean that, you know, look at the world, the real world. Yesterday, I was coming down the street and there was on a low boy semi-trailer was an SD70 cab.
Oh, wow.
You didn't tell him to deliver it to your house?
I yelled at him, but he didn't stop. But anyway, for those of you who are unfamiliar with where I live, and I'm sure that most of you don't know that, Larry's electric train.
Larry's Truck and Electric, right?
Yes, which refurbishes locomotives, sends them all over the world to lease or sell. They have 2 plants very close to us, and so I see, you know, I'll see an engine. Just the engine part, not the entire shell and everything like that. You know, on the back of semi being transported from one part of the division to another. It's pretty interesting, but they won't let me get in there. So, what can I say? But anyway, I'm going to move on to another load here. This is probably all of you are familiar with. Smaller scales have cement containers, and that's what this is. And just to give you an idea of what this looks like, this is a piece of vinyl flooring, simply painted gray, and these are plastruct tubing with an elliptical top, and this is simple brass wire bent, and again brass wire bent as the relief model.
Wow, that makes a nice load.
A little piece of styrene down there. It looks, you know, if you see the real ones, it's a simple load, but it's unique. It's simple to do, and I think it looks pretty good. And to give you an idea of the process of building it, this is the tubing as I got it from Plastruct, and this is the tubing with the elliptical top.
Now the elliptical top, that's from Plastruct as well?
As well, yes. And all I did was add the brass wiring, little lid at the top, and a little piece of styrene. And it's a simple project, but it's unique. And again, you don't have to use Plastruct tubing. If you want to use PVC tubing, then it's a lot cheaper. But you have to be careful on the size of your elliptical lids, what's available.
Yeah.
Because
stuff you get at the hardware store, I know you got to watch that the ID on it so it'll fit in there.
No, this fits on the OD. This is OD.
Oh, okay. I thought it was fitting on the inside of it.
Yeah, no, it's an OD.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but you have to be careful with the PVC and your elliptical lids so that they match up. These the lids on those containers are smooth at the top, so to speak. It does not go over the edge. Okay, anybody have any questions so far?
Well, let's see, what did we have here?
Yeah, there's a couple that Heath brought up.
Yeah, you want to put them up there, Sean?
Yeah, let's go with this one first. So, what is a car or something that you would like to build for your railroad that you're still trying to find?
That I'm still trying to buy?
Yeah,
Well,
what?
trying to find or something you still
Oh.
want to make. Like, is there
Yeah.
something that you haven't built or found yet? I guess.
Right.
You guys, the people out there are unaware of it, but there's not too much I don't have. I mean, I'm not.
I understand.
Got everything
I've kind of hit the point myself, where it's kind of like, I really got to kind of struggle to push myself to buy stuff when I see it at times.
So, what is?
I just have so much that, and I'm not saying that in a boastful way. In some ways, it's a curse, but there's not a whole lot out there that.
That's a fair enough answer, Mike.
I'm trying to be honest about it.
And the second question is, what is your favorite part of the hobby? Do you like? Is it building or just running them, or a little bit of both, or?
I pretty much like all aspects. I would say that I do like the building process probably a little bit more. I do enjoy trying to figure out how I'm going to do things and the process of discovering how to do things. And yeah, I think building would probably be my favorite, but I do enjoy running the trains. And one of the things that maybe the person who asked didn't think of is I have very much enjoyed meeting so many wonderful people. I haven't met too many railroaders that I truly haven't enjoyed and learned something from. I try to keep an open mind and learn something from everybody. And I have my very good friend Darren has taught me so much. I've learned. One of the reasons I joined the Riverside Railroad Club is that I didn't know some things about the outdoor layouts and really learned so much from other people.
Well, you didn't so much join as you were one of the original members, weren't you, Mike?
Well, yes.
Yes, no. So I thought you were there from the beginning. I could.
Yes, but that was because I had a truck and we had to clear the land.
Yes. When you have a truck, you're everybody's friend.
Yeah. I had a
strong refrigerator, dryer.
So, I did a lot of that kind of work to begin with, and so I just kind of caught up in that. So.
Zachary Riggins is saying, this is all very cool. I've learned a few new tricks. Thank you.
Well, that's good. I'm glad, but I got some more to teach you.
And Nika says he is currently building a CSX tie car next.
Okay, I'm going to ask him the question. Is it a gondola car or is it a flat car?
Oh, that's a good question.
We'll have to see what he responds back here.
So, Nika, what kind of tie car are you building for your CSX? Is it going to be a gondola? Oh, he says gondola.
Okay. I mean, I could, if you give me about five, or if you give me 3 minutes, I can go get one. one of the cars that goes with this train is a gondola car. It's an orange car, and it's just full of ties.
Oh, wow.
So if you can stand to be away from me for 2 minutes, I'll go get it. But let me continue here, and then we'll do that. Okay?
Okay.
How's
Sounds
that
good.
sound? Okay, I'm going to move on to this next car. And this is to me a very interesting car. And there's a lot I want to tell you about this car. These buckets were printed by my son also on a 3D printer. Okay, and I put them on a platform, which is just a piece of PVC plastic. And then, as you can see, I made some wooden brackets to kind of hold them in place, and then some chains to hold the buckets in place. Okay, one of the things I want to tell people is these wooden things that I put into the stirrups, the stirrup cups, I guess, if you want to call it that. If you have loads and you're not sure how to secure them, one of the things that you can do is to bring your chain into this stirrup and get a piece of wood like this. This is just stock, stock hobby wood, and kind of file them into a little wedge. Only make them maybe a half an inch long, and you can drop your chain in there and then just wedge that chain in there so it doesn't come out. Because one of the biggest problems that I think of when I'm building loads and things like that is how to secure on the car realistically. You're not going to find turnbuckles and I find it difficult to find hooks that you can bind up, tightly. And so I do think that just putting a little wedge in there and the chain, you can really secure your load from falling off and things like that. And it's simple and it looks okay. These chains, though, I happen to put a hook on there. Can you get a close-up picture of those things? Now you see these things right here?
Yeah.
You see these little eyelets. Now I'm going to show you how I did that. I went to the local Hobby Lobby, and in the jewelry section, you see these little rings? I just put those on the chains. Actually they have chains too. So I put those on the chains, and then I got these things. Let's see here if we have some. There we go. Okay, these are like, they call them eye pins. Okay, so at one end they have the eye, and then if it's a couple inches long, all you do is cut that off. You drill a nice little pinhole in there, you cut that off, and you just touch your glue in there, and you have yourself a nice place to secure your load. Now, I do have them, they do make them in black, and they do make them in other colors or other sizes. So it really is a very nice way to finish off some of your loads, and that is something that I really enjoy doing, and it looks really good. I'm just trying to think of if I have some other loads that I don't think I do have other loads that. Oh, I might down there. So we'll get to it. But anyway, I do think that's a nice way to finish off some of those loads. Okay. Okay, my next car is just a standard pipe load car. Again, wooden platform, wooden brackets to secure the pipes on the car. PVC pipe, just 2-inch PVC pipe, cut the length, painted gray, nothing special. There's nothing here that is difficult to find. It's just strip lumber. I mean, I think I cut this out of, I don't know, I think it might be cedar, I don't know. But anyway, there's nothing extraordinary, nothing unusual, difficult to find or anything. PVC pipe, cut the length, painted gray. Now, but to me, it's interesting figuring out how I want to secure the load and how I'm going to make the brackets, the spacing. I find that kind of stuff interesting, I guess. Maybe I got a simple mind. Now, I'll tell you how I glued all that kind of stuff too. Okay, this next load I did not make. I'm going to be honest, I did not make it, but it's to me, a very, very interesting car because, I mean, this is a simple box, but it's got some nice chain on it and stuff and secure. But these cars have some kind of shrink wrap on. I mean, they have nice chain, they have some nice labels, and it's shrink wrap. But the thing that I find that is very interesting is that these things all come off, and there are holes.
They have them like pinned.
Drilled into the deck. It's a real wood deck, and there are these are screws. They look like they're maybe 3/4 by 256 screws that are simply go through the platform and secured onto the. And it looks very, very natural, like it's, like that's what you would actually see. But I just think it's a beautiful car. I don't know. I don't know who did it. It's not a commercial.
I like how they shrink wrapped it. That looks really good.
Yeah, it really does. And I don't know where they got the material. Kind of have a couple of ideas, but anyway, I think it's a very nice car. Very clever how they secured this onto the deck, and it's pretty secure. Very, very nice, I think. And they put, brake wheel and everything on it. So, okay, am I going too fast?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I'm liking the looks of this next one.
Okay. This next car is again another CSX maintenance away car. This is again, this is naturally commercially produced crane. If you go to railroad photos archives or something and look up 913184, this is the car you would see exactly like this. Okay, it has a ramp. I'll take the ramp out. The ramp is I just made this out of PV or plastic. It's just channel and some H beam in here, H columns, and channel here, and I think it came out as very representative of what it looks like on the actual car.
Now, when you glued that all together, Mike, did you use like the Plastruct glue, or did you use something else?
I did with this item. I did use the I think it's called Glass Weld. Yes, I did use their weld.
Yeah, I think that's like I think that's what's the chemical that like mech or something like that. I think they call it.
Yeah, I don't know what the process, but anyway, so that's again something simple, something that there's nothing here that anybody else can do. Okay, there's another pipe load, center depressed USA car, and okay, there's the blocking for this, what would be a huge pipe, and this is made out of red wood that I just had, some redwood lying around, the pipe itself is PVC pipe. That's all that was, painted, I think it's painted beige. But I was working on a project at work and had it left over and thought, oh, that'd be a nice flow. So
Looks like you put some work into the
into
what I want to call that.
the blocking,
the blocking.
there's some work involved in there, and there's probably more work trying to figure it out. Because there are pieces that go underneath, it's hard to see them. And so all these pieces are angled. So there are pieces that, really hold this into place. And that besides these screws go all the way through the trailer, or through the car. So
They're asking, what's the best way to cut those PVC pipes that you're holding?
Yeah, looks like you got a really square cut on that, Mike. I know if I tried cutting it, it'd be all kinds of angles.
No, I use the little chop saw.
Oh.
But I'm going to tell you, it's a two-man operation. Okay, because it's probably not something that normal people do. But another guy that was working with me, he held the saw in a certain position, and I simply turned the pipe. We're cutting the blades here, and I just turned the pipe, and it came out pretty good. Now the other end was at a stop, so we would be cutting here. This edge was at a stop, so it came out pretty split. It came out really, really good. Unbelievably good. Okay, I'm not sure what kind of time we have, so I want to kind of. This is simply a wooden box. This is 1/4-inch plywood with some strips around the edge. It's just a plywood box. I made the plywood box because I was too lazy or didn't have time. I think it was time to make a transformer. That's going to be one of my projects coming up, is to make a transformer, and have some nice piping on it, and some doodads and things like that. But I was telling you earlier about those eye pins. Here's some of those eye pins right here. And they're so simple. You just, drill your hole, put your eye pin in there, attach your chain. To me, it looks good and it's very functional.
Yeah.
And it's cheap. I mean, Okay, moving on. I know we're going kind of quick, and I'm sorry, but I'm not sure what kind of time, people have. So this is a project that I just completed very recently. Steel slabs on a flat car, and the slabs are. The top one is a piece of, what is that? It's an extra piece from Colorado Models building, and the pieces below are from a Venetian blind. So, I try to use things that are available. I don't have to go out and buy and spend a lot of money on. These are 2 inches wide, 13 inches long, and the wood sticks are 1/8 inch, hobby bolts, just painted in gray, the slabs, and then this strapping is 1/8 inch pinstriping, auto pinstriping.
Ah, okay.
And I don't think it looks too bad.
No, not at all. That's a really good idea.
So simple, just wrap it around, finish it on the bottom, and that's it. And this is a piece that's still in progress, just on a flat car. Another piece from our current coffee maker.
I was just looking at it like, what the heck is that thing?
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. You look at it and you say, that looks like a casting that might go into a plant someplace,
It's kind of like when you walk into someone's house and they got this odd thing on the coffee table and they ask what it is, you say it's a conversation starter,
Excuse me. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know where other, people's environments are, but for us around here, we see things like this. We see, solid bars and slabs and machine parts and rolling pins and all kind of stuff. So it's not that unusual. Some other things I want to point out, these things here, which I'm going to put into crates, again, parts from the current machine. Nothing.
People are going to be going out buying Keurig machines to tear them apart now.
yeah. But the point is that a lot of times there are things that can be used as everyday items. This is from a lawnmower transmission. And I'm not real happy with the platform because to me it's a little bit too big and bulky, but I haven't figured out a better way to do it. Another piece from the same lawnmower.
Is behind the gear, is that like, I never closer to the camera, is that a cooling thing from a PC or?
It is. It is. I just glued some things on it.
Huh. I got like a bin of those sitting here. I never thought of that.
Now, I brought this up here for this reason. When I make things like this, like this wooden platform, these sanding drums come in all kinds of different sizes. I use this sanding drum to make that wooden platform. But if you want to make like these wheel brackets here, it's real simple. You just get make a little template, make your curve in there, and then get your sanding thing, and you can make your sand that to your perfect size rather than try to use a file or reciprocating saw, because you probably break it anyway with a reciprocating saw.
Yeah.
So, you got a drill press, just put them up there, bam, and it's pretty simple. And if you just take your time, it comes out perfect. And you can use them for wheels. These pipe things, these pipe things, that's,
Yeah.
This is very, very old. See, that's just PVC pipe,
And yes, Dakman, I have a drill press and I can't find it because it's too big to misplace.
Okay. Last thing I want to talk about are the glues that I use. Now, for the wood, like probably most of you, for all the wood, I just use liquid nails. Works perfect on the thing. Some things you have to consider though, if you're going to stain, it does not accept stain. You can paint it, but it doesn't accept stain, and it dries white. So if you're looking to just put it on and walk away, it's not going to work. Again, you're not going to stain it. So I think I have some around here somewhere. The rails, the metal stuff, you can use this JB weld on other things. I generally don't, just because it's kind of sloppy, and I mean, it sticks to everything. You got to mix it up. It doesn't go very far. The application is not that simple. I used it on the rail because it's the metal, and that's what JB weld I think is good for. I've been using Gorilla Glue more and more on the plastics. Again, the setup time, you have a lot of work time. Doesn't dry instantly, but it's generally waterproof, and it's a pretty strong bind. And so another glue that I've been using for a long time, I use it on almost all my Colorado model buildings, is a glue called Omni Stick. It's getting more and more difficult to find, and that's one reason why I've gone to the Gorilla Glue. It's very, very similar to the Gorilla Glue. It's supposed to be waterproof, dries clear. It's pretty good glue. But between the two, I think they're very, very similar in their properties and their strength and all that kind of thing. A glue that I just started to use recently, and you can get it at Home Depot, Lowe's, any of those places. It's PVC glue, but man, it's strong. And once it sets up, it will hold the plastic like crazy. Now, it's not easy to apply from the standpoint that it's not like it doesn't have a brush, doesn't have a needle. It's kind of it's not real. It's kind of fluid. It's not real jelly kind of, and the application is not that simple. But if you're working on a big project where you need some, you're trying to put something together and keep it together, it's pretty good stuff.
Now, a glue I don't see there, do you use the E6000 for anything, Mike? I know a lot of people use that.
A lot of people do, and I don't think it. I used it a little bit, but I like the Gorilla Glue and the Omni Stick better. I think that they are stronger in their bind.
Looks like we do have a question on the PVC. Is it looks like Happy Hands is asking, is it a glue or a weld? So is it an adhesive, or is it actually melt the PVC together?
I think that it is a weld.
Okay.
I think. Now, I'm not an expert on it. I'm just telling you how and I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read it.
No problem, Mike. No problem.
But I'm going to tell you this. In this, I just noticed this happens to be white, so they might make it in a clear. I don't know. I just got what they said, or when I got to the store, and they had it, and I got it. But anyway, it says white. They may make it clear, but it says UV protected, and this glue is designed for vinyl fencing. That's where you find it. You find it in the fencing department. You don't find it with the other adhesives. And I think it's pretty strong. I've had,
I see we have another person here, RMA 1958. They were saying that they're not big on the Gorilla Glue because it has a very short shelf life. Have you ever experienced that with the Gorilla Glue, Mike? Or do you use it fast enough that you never get a chance to find out?
I have not experienced that.
All right, just
That's
curious.
all I'm going to say. I haven't experienced it, whether or not I use it up or what. But I think I've had that for a while.
All right, just curious. I know everybody's mileage can vary on different things. Just curious what your experience was with it.
Yeah, yeah. I have not experienced that, but that's me. I don't leave them open. I know that. Any glues, I try to, keep it kept pretty good.
Absolutely.
Somebody was asking earlier in the chat if your son actually had a 3D printing store because they liked the drag line shovel that he made you.
Oh, you mean like does he have like an online store where he sells stuff?
Yes.
Ah,
Well, he does, but it's me. No, he does not, but I do have them. If somebody is interested, I will sell them. I have them in gray, black, and yellow.
now the
And I
thing that's gonna come up when you say that is someone asked earlier if you had an online presence, which I don't believe that you do, Mike. If people are interested in that, how do you want them to contact you?
Email. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry. I should have written that down. My
Well, what we can do is, if there's anyone that's interested in any of the 3D printed things that you had there, if they just want to shoot us an email at info@largescaletrains.com, I can forward that stuff to you.
yeah, or I can tell you what my email
okay.
address is. I don't have any problem with that.
All right. I know some people don't want to just put their email out there.
Yeah, well, it should be okay. I mean, you're watching this program, that's good enough for me. And if anybody else has any other questions too, don't be afraid to email me. And
what's your email, Mike?
My email address is mzador@neo.rr.com. Pretty simple.
.com or so you said .com?
.com.
Okay. I can add that to the description of the show here in a bit.
Right, that would be fine. And now, that one fellow wanted to see the tie card. Do you want me to run and get it?
Yeah, if you got a couple minutes, that's fine.
I do. I didn't, the audience look at my wall, unless you want to show them some of those cards. I'll be right back.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Hey, Andrew, were you able to get the information for the upcoming open house at Riverside?
I was. That'd probably be a good time to show that. And if you hear that voice, that's Darren Warren that's been on our show before.
I'm supposed to be the silent cameraman.
Silent cameraman. Well, Heath from Human City was trying to hire you earlier. He wanted to know who you were, but I told him you were spoken for by Krista. Yeah, let me see here. I have the flyer here.
Heath was wondering how you met Mike.
How I met Mike?
Yes.
I met Mike when I Well, I met Mike. I met Darren, Cody, that you see in the chat all the time. Jack Twaddle may still be in the chat now. I met all of those people when I joined the Riverside Railroad Club. Ooh, when did I join there, Darren? I don't remember.
Long time ago.
I'm not an active member still at this time, but obviously, as you can tell, I still visit and I'm friends with everybody from there. Just time became kind of an obstacle for me.
Okay, they're not seeing you. Oh, yeah, you are.
Well,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
we were just putting the flyer up for the open
Yeah.
house, but we can come back to that in a second here.
Okay, this is the CSX gondola cart that goes with the maintenance of way train. And all I did was I got some cedar, cut-offs and stuff. And what I did was I got a railroad tie from the track. And I made these square because most of the time railroad ties are square. Some of them are buried a little bit in the ground when you see them, so they don't appear square, but they pretty much are. And this is the same size and everything. And so there they are. Now, what I was considering doing, that looks too blah to me. It's a car full of ties and everything. But what I was thinking about doing was making a pile and using that pinstripe and creating a pile and kind of binding the ties. And what I was also going to do was I was going to leave the outside, like the outside of the pile, looking like this, and then cut the ends or the middle out to save weight and ties. They don't need to be solid. And just kind of make a solid block. Make it look that way anyway. So, but anyway, there's, I don't know the size or anything like that, but they fit in there almost perfectly. And that was not by design. It just happened to be that way.
Happy coincidence. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, yes. So I hope that helps that fella. And, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. I'm just sharing some things that I've done and hope I help somebody tonight. And, hope everyone enjoyed it and learned something too.
Oh, absolutely. We're glad that you came on, Mike.
Well,
You always have something interesting that you're working on or just finished up. I'm always amazed by the stuff that you have. I mean, you see a lot of the same stuff running on everybody's layouts, and just looking at everything that's sitting in front of you right now, you never have that problem.
well, that's one reason why we all want to make our trades interesting, and I don't know whether I'm just cheap or what, but I like to use things that are available easily. Maybe I just don't feel like going out and trying to hunt for stuff. So it's interesting for me to, part of the hobby is find new things.
Absolutely.
I know when I visited the East Coast Roller Scale Train Show in the last 2 or 3 years, there was a club called the Train Runners PVC Club.
Yeah.
And they run a lot of Western Maryland trains on their layout during the show. And I remember and you talk about unique things, and they're one of the clubs that had a train that actually had a center of press car with a boat propeller on it, I believe. Remember that, Andrew?
That, yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
It's like you said, to come up with different things that you normally don't see other people doing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've actually, gone online and taken a look at flat cars and all that kind of thing. And, every time I look at a magazine, I try to see, like all of us, what kinds of ideas are in there. I mean, that's the whole thing of, looking at those things, get new ideas for our layouts and for our trains. And some of the things, I guess I've seen them with airplane wings and some stuff doesn't interest me, but I like the more industrial kind of things.
Yeah. I like to see somebody build a Schnabel car in G
Ooh.
scale, but that would be a pretty big one.
Well,
Be a little bit larger, wouldn't it?
I will tell you guys this, that my son printed me an 8-axle flat car with the bolsters under each end, and it's a flat car. It's not center depressed, but it must be maybe 60 feet long, 60 scale feet long anyway, and it's pretty neat. Maybe one of these shows I got some unique cars. 5-foot or a 5-bay coal hopper. What else I have? That's pretty. Or some steel coil cars,
Oh wow.
and they're pretty nice.
So, coming up in December, Mike, the Riverside Railroad Club that you belong to, you guys are going to be having your Christmas open house.
Right.
I was going to throw the flyer for that up there. No, actually, let me. Hang on here. I know, Sean. I need to be more organized, right?
Exactly.
Let's see here. There we go. That looks better. Now, do you know if you're going to be at that open house, Mike? If people that come by, would they be able to run into you and chat with you?
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I would really enjoy meeting some of the people out there. I don't know if they want to meet me too. Once they get to know me, they say, "Oh."
No, I don't think I've met a person that's met you, Mike, and not been happy when they've walked away.
Well, you haven't met too many of my friends, have you?
No, I've met plenty of your friends. Remember, there's a few of them that have some screws loose, but
Well, yeah, I've got more than a couple.
And for anyone that doesn't know, the layout that you guys have now is an indoor layout.
It's about
trying to think, like, what's the size of it?
I think it's about 40, 45 feet long and probably about 20 feet wide, with 2 main lines and then a lot of industrial lines inside of that.
I know you have like a run through yard on there.
Yes.
You have a circus set up on the one side, I believe, right?
Yes, a lot of it is modeled after Trumbull County. So the circus kind of resembles, or we wanted to give it a Trumbull County theme of the Trumbull County Fair, and then we have a downtown area, and then some Trumbull County Courthouse area, and some, and we have some other memorabilia around the.
Keith, who is in the chat, he's a big circus train fan, so.
This circus that we have has a lot of animation, and it's very, very nice.
The circus is on the club layout, Heath.
Yes, and if he's within the distance, and we meet every Tuesday also. If he can't make the open house, We meet every Tuesday about 4 o'clock to 5:30 or so.
Well, Heath would have to drive all the way from New York State, I think.
Well, actually take the train.
Okay, we're at New York State.
I'm not sure exactly where we're at in New York State, where Mike is. New York City, I'm guessing. 'Cause he says, "How far are you from New York City?"
Yeah, I think he actually lives right in the city.
That's probably about 8 hours.
I don't have a link in front of me at the second, Heath, but I know I've got a couple of videos from the club layout on my channel that you can see the circus in on it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, and we are on Facebook also.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why I asked about we're at New York at our G scale swamp meet in July, there were people from Buffalo that came. There was one guy from North Tonawanda, and he was a vendor. And then there was another buyer from North Tonawanda, and then there was another couple from New York. Very nice people.
That's right. Yeah, there were several people that came down from New York.
Yeah.
Now remind me, are you guys still thinking about doing the GCL show again this year?
Yes, we are.
Be next year. We already did it this year.
Yeah. In fact, we gotta get our planning committee together and get moving on it because it is coming up.
All right.
I'm gonna shut up.
No, I thank you very much for coming on tonight, Mike. I think it gave a lot of people a lot of good ideas. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to run out and buy a Keurig machine to take it apart, but you made good use of the parts from it. That's for sure. So if you got a broken one at home, go to town on it.
Yeah, that's what happened. You know, the thing broke, and I thought, I tried to fix it. You know, so it was a part to try to fix it. Then I realized I can't fix it. Then I thought, I think I can use some of these parts as loads. So that's how that happened. So, but I hope that people watching were able to get a few ideas and enjoyed it. I did.
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah, it was great having you aboard.
Before we go, let me look here. But when we do go, Mike, hang out for a couple minutes after we end, just so we can chat with you for a minute.
Okay.
But I did want to point out to everybody that we will not have a show in 2 weeks. Our next show will be, let's see, that'll be December 11th. Will actually be our next show. Because if we would do it in 2 weeks, where it was going to land at, Dakman and I were going to be tied up with some other stuff. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to skip that one. So I apologize. I hope everybody doesn't miss us too badly. But any parting words, Sean?
I thought it was interesting. I'm glad Mike came aboard to show us all the different loads, especially the custom ones. It's all neat stuff. And from what I saw in the chat, people were enjoying the what he was showing and getting some ideas. And I think it helped a lot of people.
I hope so.
All right. Well, with that, we'll say good night, everyone. And like I said, we'll see you again on December 11th. And take care until then. Stay out of trouble.
We'll see everybody. Good night.
Take care, everyone.